Hi, my name is Connor Norris. I am with the MAT Secondary Science program at NC State University. This is for class ED571, section 601, and today I will be presenting the professional development book, Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess. As for a quick outline of what this webinar will be about, I will first cover the central premise of this book. I will then cover the 4 main points that I have found important in this book, including answering hard truths, engagement and rapport, presentational hooks, and collaboration is the key. I will then lead into the 2 teaching strategies that I have learned from this book, which I have titled Swim for It and Making a Meal. Then I will finish off my concluding thoughts about this professional development book. The central premise of this book was split up into 3 sections: defining pirate, crafting engaging lessons, and combating against burned out teachers. As for the pirate section, it was split up to understand who you are as a teacher, asking important questions trying to figure out what your passion is about teaching, and finding where your enthusiasm comes from. Covering crafting engaging lessons, this book had a variety of presentational hooks that you can use to engage your students and to keep up that passion of a teacher. Lastly, when combating against burned out teachers, it shows a way to keep up that enthusiasm and a way to get immersed into your classes. This way you can be more enthusiastic about what you teach and all the things that you do as a teacher. As for the first main point that I want to discuss, I found answering hard truths to be a big player. These questions were truly focused on yourself, the teacher, and asked what you are truly passionate about when it comes to teaching, and what are you passionate about teaching, aka the lesson, the subject. It then led into why did you become a teacher and what drives you? And what can you do or what can you change to adapt your classrooms to new situations? What can you do to better the learning environment? By answering these hard truths about yourself and about your classroom, you are better able to understand who you are as a teacher, your standing, and what you can do to make yourself better. The second point that I want to bring up is how engagement and rapport can affect the classroom. This book links these 2 skills to create strong behavior management skills, and that engagement and rapport go hand in hand. The main question asked was, what can engage your students in the classroom? However, you can truly only answer this question when you know what your students like. And to do this, you have to build a relationship with them. It is this relationship that the book uses to help create presentational hooks that fit to your classroom, your unique situation, in such a way to make you the better teacher, which can lead to the third main point of using presentational hooks. This third main point is looking at presentational hooks. This book showed a variety of presentational hooks that ranges from what I have listed below and discussed how they were truly keys in crafting these engaging lessons. This book continued on saying that having engaging lessons with enthusiasm from the teacher, as well as skills of using these hooks from lesson to lesson, could create a better learning environment for both you, the teacher, and the students. The hooks that I have presented here below include the kinesthetic, which is moving around, art, application, acting, story, technological uses, contests and challenges, and even life-changing events and actions that you link it to the real world. The last main point that I want to bring up with this professional development book is collaboration. In collaboration, they discussed mainly finding the crew that works for you, just like any good pirate. A teacher should never have to feel that they are alone, but they can rely on their other fellow teachers and get help from those around them. We see a lot of websites nowadays such as Teachers Help Teachers and professional development webinars and tactics such as this book. This book continues to show when you're in doubt, take action, ask for help when you need it, and that a goal is never unreachable if you work together. Looking at teaching strategies, the first one that I want to talk about is swim for it. This book defined two types of teachers: those swimming in the rough of it with their students and those sitting above them in high towers like supervisors or lifeguards. Each one of these types have different experiences with their students. However, the one that has the most immersion with their students is the one swimming with their students. This kind of teacher creates a personal power with their students. It can build attitude and rapport with their students, and can also change the learning environment itself with everyone in it, including the teacher. An example that the author brought up is with his son in swimming lessons. His son had two teachers. One stood on the side of the pool and told him what he was doing and not doing, right or wrong. The other teacher was in the pool with his son, moving his arms and showing him how to swim. They saw the teacher in the pool less than the one that stood outside, but his son said he learned the most from the teacher that was swimming with him. This idea could then be brought back into the classroom, saying that by immersing yourself with your students, by getting on their level instead of being a supervisor to them, you have a chance of teaching your students and connecting to them even more than you could before. The last teaching strategy that I want to share with everyone is making a meal. This book had a lot of usage on presentational hooks and to use them to season your lessons and to encourage your students. This can help keep the classroom active. The author described this seasoning as seasoning the meat. Next, you need to raise the heat by bringing enthusiasm and showmanship into your classroom. Using this with your presentational hooks can lower a lot of time-wasting activities. The author brought up a teacher that told him that he was very creative, and that it's because of his creative skills that he's able to do this when she cannot. He wanted to point out that everybody has a choice to make a class truly enthusiastic and engaged, and that creativity can happen to anyone, that you just need to spend more time and just think about what you need to do to engage your students. I would like to end this webinar with one concluding thought in a quote that I am bringing from Dave Burgess himself. If your students didn't have to be there, would you be teaching in an empty room? This is a really deep thought that he brings up at the beginning of his book. It makes you wonder, are you teaching with enough enthusiasm and engaging your students in what you are passionate about to where your students want to be there instead of being forced to be there? I see this as trying to become the teacher that my students want to be in the classroom because of my enthusiasm, because of my actions. And I hope that this can easily be used for all of you. To find Teach Like a Pirate by Dave Burgess yourself, here's the reference that I have listed here for all of you. And lastly, I wanted to thank you for listening into this webinar, and I hope you all have a good day.